Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight, shelters to stay open as long as necessary. The location for dome housing in Abaco subject to change. Another pastor weighs in on the marijuana report. Plus, U.S. churches to donate to NEMA.
Our News is brought to you by Alive.
Welcome to Our News, the weekend edition. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kyle Joaquin. Minister of Social Services Frankie Campbell providing an update on those shelters that are still housing hundreds of Hurricane Dorian evacuees. Campbell says as long as people need shelter, it will be provided.
I would remember hoping that we would have been able to deactivate shelters by Christmas. That didn't happen because as long as there are people who need to be sheltered, we are obliged to provide those shelters. I can say at present that there is still a total of 438 persons in shelters, 108 at Bahamas Academy and 330 at the Kendall G.L. Isaacs Gym. The numbers continue to decrease because we are assisting families with rental assistance, assisting families in relocating either here in New Providence or back to their original islands or even to other islands.
Hurricane Dorian displaced thousands of residents after it slammed Abaco as a deadly Category 5 storm. Officials say 71 people are confirmed dead and hundreds more missing. Concerns over a tuberculosis outbreak have added to concerns. Back in December, a teenager tested positive for TB, leading to his schoolmates and fellow shelter residents being tested.
This isn't something we are accustomed to. This isn't something we could have planned for because we would not have anticipated it being of this magnitude. But we are where we are, and we continue to work for a solution in the shortest possible time.
Well, as cleanup and reconstruction efforts continue on the island of Abaco, Director of the National Emergency Management Agency, Captain Stephen Russell, said plans on the location for the 250 domes are changing.
Plans were afoot for some 12 acres of property that was cleared for the 200 structures. But on a close examination of the communities, we saw it's more feasible to put a set of domes adjacent to a community that was destroyed. Like Spring City, for example. We went into the community, we saw it was, like I said, suitable to put, say, some 40 domes in that community to service that community that was impacted.
Russell added the remaining domes will be set up in Marsh Harbor.
The remaining probably 50 plus domes, they will be dispersed throughout the Marsh Harbor area. The idea was to put domes on persons' home or property that were able to accommodate a dome. That enabled them to work on their homes at their pace while they live in a dome structure that was on their property.
Is it a challenge identifying property?
No. The idea is like once your property is large enough to hold a dome.
Cabinet Office has announced that Her Majesty the Queen gave her approval for the conferment of the Honor of the Night Grand Cross of the Most Distinguished Order of St. Michael and St. George upon Governor General Cornelius A. Smith. Meanwhile, the Queen also gave her approval for the conferment of the Honor of Night Bachelor upon Chief Justice Brian Morey. Well, as we get settled into 2020, PLP Chairman Fred Mitchell says there are a lot of lingering matters Bahamians should keep an eye on. He said the country was left with many questions regarding electricity, labor and finances in 2019, and he hopes they will be addressed this year.
The question is going to be what happens with power, what's happening with the environment, what's happening with Freeport, what's going to happen in Abaco. And all that we see heretofore is that a government that's just patting itself on the back about what a great job they've done, but the objective evidence is they have not done a great job at all. So it's our job to prepare the population for a change in administrations.
The Minutes administration has hit the halfway mark in its administration and has had several accomplishments as well as a number of blunders. Though 2 years away, Mitchell said the PLP sights are set on the next general election.
Hopefully if we get that chance, that we will take the country back to a place where people have a firm belief in what being Bahamian is, in the development of our country, and not taking us back to the days when we were second-class citizens in our own country. That sovereignty will mean something and not taken to the back where we just seem to be jumping through hoops to the answer of some foreign master.
Next Friday, the country will celebrate majority rule. According to Mitchell, the party will take to the streets that morning.
We're going to start by holding a march on the 10th of January to commemorate the Majority Rule Day observations, and we'll take it from there. So we look forward to an active year from the Progressive Liberal Party.
The minimum mandatory age to purchase and use recreational cannabis should be 26, according to Director of Substance Abuse Services for the Sandilands Rehabilitation Center, Dr. Kirk Christie. He noted that brain development continues up until age 23 to 25. He added that if you introduce drugs like alcohol and marijuana at an early age, you can change the normal brain chemistry. The National Commission on Marijuana recommends recreational marijuana be permitted for adults over 21 and medicinal marijuana be permitted for adults over 18. Christie also suggested banning synthetic marijuana. He explained there are some chemical compounds that are now being sold or distributed that are synthetically made and are very dangerous drugs. Christie also suggested that a medical committee be formed with adequate funding. He said this committee would be tasked with retrieving global evidence-based research, dosing updates, best practices, and THC effects. Still to come, a local pastor weighs in on the marijuana report. Stay tuned.
Internet is good. TV is good. But why just pick one thing when you can have everything with Tria? Only $99 a month gets you phone, internet, and cable. That's everything you need for $99 a month. Ask for Tria. Call 601-2200 or email residentialsales@cablebahamas.com. Rev, you and us together.
You're watching Our News. Welcome back. A local pastor is speaking out on that leaked report from the Bahamas Marijuana Commission. He says more focus should be placed on educating young people on the substance. Berthany McDermott reports.
Local pastor Carlos Reed says while the appointment of the Marijuana Commission was a step in the right direction, he doesn't think the country should be discussing whether to legalize small amounts of marijuana at this point.
What I speak for is somebody that's been on the street and understand that, look here, there are some dangers to marijuana. But at the same time, there are dangers to alcohol. But every corner inside our hood have a bar room. There's a law on the books right now that states that it's illegal to sell somebody that's under the age of 18 alcohol beverages. But have you ever seen anybody hauled before the courts because they do it? And that's something being done every day.
Reed added that more time and resources should have been spent on an education campaign to ensure young people are aware of the long-term effects of marijuana. Education Minister Jeffrey Lloyd has said that as marijuana laws change, so will the school curriculum to educate students on the substance.
We have always been a reactive society. And that's why we're in the place that we are as a nation. Voices was with the same thing, marijuana, way back when Bob Marley decided to come to the Bahamas. Not until we realized that we had a problem with marijuana that we decided we was going to do something about it. And then in the 80s, the problem emerged with cocaine. And we had the same problem, but as soon as it became an epidemic, we said, boy, what we can do about it. And then the late 80s and the 90s, it became AIDS. We did the same thing. We've always been reactive rather than proactive. Our school system needs to be proactive.
Reed also slammed the education system, adding that more emphasis should be placed on helping students make better choices.
You know, when we look about school, they never taught us about cannabis and the effects of marijuana inside school. They had me cutting open frogs, had me cutting open hibiscus, naming the different parts. I've never had to cut open a frog or a hibiscus to make an intelligent decision since I come out of school, nor to get a job. See who's wasting my time? Teach me about things that I'm going to encounter. You see what I'm saying? They had me in algebra. Any of y'all ever use algebra since you come out of school? Come on, A plus X equal Z? That cost me to smoke grass. You see what I'm saying? Teach us about things that we could use that could help us to make intelligent choices.
Data in the Commission's draft preliminary report indicates that nearly 5,000 people were arrested between 2017 and 2018 for the possession of marijuana. The report recommends the decriminalization of up to 1 ounce of marijuana and the expungement of all police records reflecting possession of small amounts of cannabis. REID supports this recommendation.
I don't believe at this stage of the game that our young people should be made criminals because they are found in possession of small amounts of marijuana. There are some people right now that had opportunities to go to school, but America, and we know it, they're very uncaring and unforgiving when it comes to the used drugs. A person can get hauled before the court for one joint, found guilty. That goes on their record. When you go to the embassy to get your visa, they see drugs, they don't see one joint.
The Commission is expected to submit the final draft of its report to Cabinet this month. Reporting for Our News, I'm Berthany McDermott.
All right, thanks, Berthany. Still to come, U.S. churches donate to NEMA. Stay tuned. Representatives of the international church community gathered at the National Emergency Management Agency Friday morning to present a check for, get this, $433 to assist with the reconstruction of Abaco and Grand Bahama. CORDELL Simpson II from 8th Street Missionary Baptist Church in Nashville, Tennessee, said they felt compelled to help.
The way that we came about coming down here to give this donation is we have family friends that are here on the island, and we were definitely worried, as everyone in the United States was, once they saw all of the devastation that hit this area. We have family friends. We wanted to make sure that they were okay, but going a step beyond that, we wanted to make sure that we were able to do God's work, which is essentially going out and making sure that our brothers and sisters are safe and that our brothers and sisters are taken care of in any way that we can.
Local Reverend Harrison Thompson, who represents Faith United Missionary Baptist Church and New Mount Zion Baptist Church in New Orleans, Louisiana, said his church has not forgotten the task ahead for NEMA. They handed over a check for $3,000.
We have sent 4 tents already to Abaco, to several churches in Abaco so that they could hold services. We have also sent food and water to Abaco and Grand Bahama. And today we're making a small contribution financially, and the process will continue. We waited at this time because we realized that now that all the smoke has cleared, this is when NEMA really need the help and support, particularly of the local community.
NEMA Director Captain Stephen Russell thanked the churches for their donations.
We are pleased for this timely and generous donation. Again, we continue to seek the support, likewise for prayers from the church and the church community in general throughout the Bahamas and the wider region of the world, as we again press forward with the task of rebuilding lives and our communities.
Still to come, a teen environmentalist applauds the new plastics ban. That's coming up when Our News returns.
Internet is good. TV is good. But why just pick one thing when you can have everything with Tria? Only $99 a month gets you phone, internet, and cable. That's everything you need for $99 a month. Ask for Tria. Call 601-2200 or email residentialsales@cablebahamas.com. Rev, you and us together.
You're watching Our News. Welcome back. As some Bahamians struggle to adjust to the new plastics ban, one teen says it's time for Bahamians to get out of their comfort zone for the sake of the environment. 16-year-old Sierra Blair has spent much of her life cleaning up beaches, volunteering with local environmental groups, and spreading the word about environmental stewardship. The 11th grade student at Kingsway Academy says it has become one of her many passions.
I can truly say it started from when I was 10 years old. My mom, the job that she had at the time, Deputy Publications, they wanted to do a beach cleanup. And at the time, I was like a little like apprehensive about it. I was like, oh, I could be home like watching TV because, you know, it was on a Saturday morning. But after I actually went and I cleaned up the beach, I felt like self-accomplished, and I was just like proud that I've done it.
Blair encouraged more students to get involved and insisted they too can make a difference. She says the best way to get started is by finding a group to join.
I would say personally, do it with a group first. Like if you feel more comfortable, you can do it with like family members or friends, or maybe you can get like your biology teacher, science teacher to like help you and do it with you and get like the class involved, just so you can feel more comfortable, because I know some people may feel more comfortable doing it in groups.
Blair says she supports the plastics ban and what it means for young people like herself.
I know a lot of people are thinking like, oh, so like we can't use plastics anymore. They think like the world is gonna end or something. Like I did have my moment, because I'm just like, so what am I gonna carry like my shoes in? Like when I have to have PE, like when am I gonna put my shoes in? What am I gonna put like inside my little small garbage can, what I have in my room and stuff like that? And then I'm just like, okay, like I had to just pull myself out of that selfish mindset and be like, okay, so it's not about me, it's about the country, what's best for the country and what's best for the just the marine organisms and what's just best for our future generation.